Alright, so here's part two. Our transmission's fine. We shifted it through all the gears. Everything's assembled nice and tight. It's working. And now we have our bearings in both sides of the case. Now we're going to drop the crank in. So the right way to do it is you take a piece of steel and you heat it up and lay it on top of this inner race of the bearing. It's going to get so hot to where this won't spin anymore. And then you drop your crank in, but our crank has been freezed, and this is going to literally, and the bearing's kind of warm, just drop right in. Make sure you're putting it in the right way because you don't want to mess that up. And that just drops in, which is good. And just to make sure, give it a hit, and that's in there. And now we get to set up this case for RTV because Kawasaki on this bike does not use, make sure this doesn't fall, like keep a hand on it. They don't use a case gasket unlike some companies, so what I'm going to do now is clean these surfaces with some brake cleaner or any kind of cleaner. Clean all the oil the way I'm doing it right here with a rag. We already scraped all the gasket off of this, and we've got the gudgeon pins in, which are these things for you guys who don't know. We're just going all the way around. I'm going to do the same on the other case, half. And we've already cleaned the insides of the cases off prior to making this, so there's nothing in them, no old oil, nothing. Now, I'm going to grab some RTV. And I'm using the black stuff, which is what you guys should use. You shouldn't use the blue stuff. It sucks. This is oil resistant and heat resistant up to, I think, what, like 450 degrees to 500 degrees intermittent temperature. So just bear with me while I get this unclogged. And we're just gonna, after this, just slam it together. And we're having technical difficulties. I can't pull this out. So my fingers are all greasy.
Is that a cap?
No. It's old RTV. Keep this can working. But I have like none left, like I was saying earlier. So I'm gonna give it a second. And there it comes. Slowly. Yeah, if you guys buy RTV, I would buy the stuff that's not in a can. Unless you're doing oil pans every day, because this stuff's a pain in the ass. I hope I have some left. Because right now it's being a pain in the dick.
Can't just cut it open, can you?
Well, then it might go spewing everywhere. I don't know. Wait, oh, we got some stuff coming out now. There we go. Alright, cool, the show goes on. Alright, so we grab, sorry for the technical difficulties, this video isn't going to be very good, but whatever. It'll help someone out there. So you take a glob of it like this on your finger, and you don't use all of it at once, you just slowly wipe it on. And you smear it on both cases like this. You don't want to put a bead on because then you're going to get too much. And it's going to go inside the cases, and it's going to make a big mess, especially if it goes inside the crankcase area of this. Doesn't matter if it's in the transmission. So you just go around and...
Probably a good idea. I'm not even doing this crank anyway. It looks like it's been done a couple times.
I'm just going to keep going. Now you want to be cautious around this crank area. You want to make sure to get all the area coated really good. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. And if you can't reach somewhere, it's okay to kind of put a bead around it, I guess, but it's just got to be really, really thin, because you really don't want this stuff seeping through and then messing up
Your engine.
stuff. So, I guess we'll talk a little bit more about this bike during this process. Conferment RM, the 93 RM 125 you guys see, bought another bike, a vintage bike after I bought mine. They kind of have a vintage pair of bikes, I guess you could say. So he bought this bike for $470 and
With plans.
he's gonna restore it. And like the guy said, the guy seriously only thought it needed a main bearing because the engine wouldn't spin over. So I got home, took the engine out of the bike, and split the cases, and the crank was completely seized. So from right now, as you're seeing it now, it didn't even move when I first took it apart. But I freed up the crank. You know, I can see all the bearings are shot on it, and it's you know, pretty gnarly inside there. I'm actually gonna, you know, this is gonna come right out. Here, hold the case. I need to get around this.
Uh-oh. Now the doesn't want to come out.
No, it will. I can't really get it in this.
I wish they had more RTV to that side then.
Here. This. Alright. These cameramen. Alright, what we did, guys, was we took the crank out because I can't really reach this area very good. So, that's all I did. We'll set this aside, we'll put the crank back in. Now, this is boring, yes, but we gotta do the other side. So, I don't know, we could have cameraman tell you about the bike because it's his.
Well, all the plastics are repainted. It looks like you can tell it's been restored. There's no rust on it anymore. I just want to build a ride bike for the moment. I don't have my bike at the moment, so kind of doing anything I can to ride. So I guess all you hardcore bikers would understand that. But yeah, it should be interesting. I'm hoping that it doesn't blow up, but I also am at the same time. I kind of want to see what happens.
My prediction for this bike is that it's going to seize. It's just going to be riding. It's going to seize. We're going to be running it really rich, probably like 25, 20 to 1. Just because it's an older bike, and not only that, it's air cooled and it's also kind of messed up. So we're going to be running it fairly rich, and it's going to probably. It'll go for a while, but eventually the crank's just going to get too much slop in it from this bearing wearing out, and then the timing is going to be off because the crank's going to have a lot of play in it, and then it's going to start backfiring, and it's just going to eventually not want to run, or it's just going to seize. The piston for this and the cylinder are in decent shape, but it's still recommended that they are
Replaced.
Yeah, so this is why we don't really care right now, because he doesn't have the money to do either.
So might as well run it like this.
Yeah, so it'll go for a little bit, but then it's going to blow up, and then it's going to have to go through this all over again, and at that point, we'll probably make another video of doing this the right way, but this is kind of half-assed for now. Doesn't really matter.
Well, I'm hoping to see like the crank explode or something like that. I want to see the rods like snap and go everywhere, but...
Okay, so now that this is ready to be put together. We're going to put the crank back in. So we're just going to take this and slide it back in, give it a good tap, and set this up over here so it'll balance, kind of, not really. Yeah, just hold it. Then we're going to get this other case half and simply we're going to just throw it on. And before that, may as well double check, make sure everything's in. Didn't miss anything.
Spin it.
I can't.
The other one.
No, I don't. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then basically just line this up with all the gears. And yeah, I need to put the bearing in for this, but I can do that after the fact. And this will just slide on. I should have heated up that bearing. That just means you're going to have to do a little bit more tapping. Now I'm going to make sure these shafts are all lining up. So you're going to have to jiggle it around and mess with it until they line up. Let me separate it again real quick.
Probably could just hit it with the case over a little bit.
Yeah, but this is being a pain. I gotta get this up more. Let me. Here. Move. I got it. Alright, so now take two.
Go hit that side first.
Put a little bit of oil on this stuff right here. Put some oil in there. Some oil on this bearing. And then doing stuff. No. And then hit it right home. And then you can hear it's nice and solid now. It's just a little bit more. Just one more little tap. This will be all the way together. And then that's it. Then you just gotta put all your bolts in. And just for the sake of this video, we'll put this bearing in. I actually have it over here. Clean it real quick.
That's the gear I'm missing, right?
No, this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm missing a gear too, so we have to pop start it whenever we start it. That's okay.
So this is that transmission gear right there. We'll put that on and I'll torque it down too with a impact screwdriver, just so you guys can see how that works. I guess why not? So this bearing is kind of shot, but it'll do. It doesn't carry that much strain anyways. So all we're going to do to this is we'll throw some oil on it. It'll make it a little bit quieter. And then this slides over to here. Oh, that's the bigger bearing. I need the smaller one. Anyways, you guys get what I'm doing. Let me see if I can find another bearing before we end the video. It's one of these bearings.
All the other cases.
Oh, these are the other crank bearings. That's why I didn't use them here.
Okay.
Show them or whatever.
Oh yeah, these ones are the ones that were in there. Like, you can hear them. Hear that? The other ones didn't make noise. What time is it? I gotta get on. Food break.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find those other bearings. They should have been up here. I don't know why they aren't. And they're not in one of these bags. Kind of want to show you guys real quick. So I'm trying to look for these. You can see the bucket of parts that we have going on over here. Oh, there they are. All the other parts that I cleaned. These are both the same bearing.
Which one works better?
They're both the same.
Oops.
This one. So yeah, this just will oil it. This is a nicer bearing. And as you see, it doesn't carry that much load. Get a little bit of oil. That's just gonna slide right on. And it doesn't take much to get that in there. And we're gonna put the case bolts in too, but we're gonna let the RTV set up real quick. And this is the bearing retainer for this. It simply only goes on one way.
Really?
No.
Oh.
I can get these screws started. Be pretty helpful. Holy shit. This is stupid. Alright, there's one. So yeah guys, I don't know. You guys may not like this video series because it's kind of slow. But if any of you have a 1980 to like 83 KDX 175, this is going to help you guys a lot. Hopefully. I mean, I'm not going to edit the videos and everything. If you could find a better 1980 KDX 175 engine reassembly, then good for you, but as far as I know, this is the only one out. So, I'm just trying to help you guys. So, now we get our impact screwdriver. Put the bit that fits best in, so I'm going to go with this pointed one. Nope, never mind. I'm going to go with the square.
But you hit it with a hammer and it turns it?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So you take this, kind of get it in there somewhat good. You put a little bit of twisting pressure on it, then just hit it. You can see that bolt spin one final time. Watch, you can look at the bolt closely. That's as tight as I can get it by hand. Now watch, you're going to see it spin just a little bit. And that's how you don't strip these. This is how you put the case bolts on too, and that's nice and tight. That bearing's not going anywhere.
Pretty cool.
We will.
The engine's splitting apart, by the way.
Yeah, I see. We'll spin the transmission again.
Wow, that one actually spins.
Now watch the counter shaft here. You're going to see it go through all the gears. That is first. That should be second or neutral. No, that's third. It's like fourth, fifth, sixth. That's sixth, fifth, fourth, third, and second. I'm going to try and hit neutral here. That would be neutral because you can hold it. Oh, you just made it shift. Anyways, and our crank will be notchy. As you can see, it's not the smoothest of cranks, but it's gonna have to do for now. And I'll throw some oil on it. Some oil just in the general area.
Squirted it everywhere.
And yeah, but we'll get back to you with the final engine reassembly.
Alright.